band of Animates arrived in the forest belonging to the Personates. No one quite knew where they came from. It could have been Never Ever Land. They were in search of a place to make their home.
Look, we found it. The Personate village.
It wasn't a very pretty village, but for the weary travellers, it was the end of a long journey. Leo was the Animates' leader, and he was very brave, but he often asked advice from Wizzy, the wise owl, who was very wise.
What do you think, Wizzy? Will they let us settle here? From what I've heard, they need cheering up.
That's why we've been sent. But I'm not sure they will welcome us.
I want to go back to Never Ever Land. I'm afraid. All mice are afraid.
Now, you two.
Leo the lion, Wizzy the wise owl, Mopey the monkey, Brenda the bush baby, Carla the cat, and Timmy the mouse made their way over the hill to the Personates' village and on to the king's palace.
Now, Wizzy and I will go in and see the king and try to persuade him to let us stay. Don't get into any mischief, Mopey, even though you are a monkey.
Mopey is known to be rather naughty.
I must admit that I do need help. My people don't want to work anymore, at least not the hard jobs, and they never seem to be happy these days. But they might not like you Animates coming here. Personates can be very foolish sometimes.
We promise to be very careful and not let them know we're helping them. And we'll try not to be too cheerful.
Well, we'll give it a try. But you better make your home on the other side of the bridge in the forest. The Personates don't think Animates are as good as they are. I'm sorry, but that's another foolish notion they have. Oh, sometimes I'm ashamed of being a Personate.
And so the Animates started to build their houses. They used the brightly coloured poms from the pom-pom trees that grew in the forest. They made the inside all warm and cosy, and they, as usual, were very happy. They also kept their promise and did all the jobs that the Personates did not want to do. They swept the streets until they were clean and shining, and cleaned the windows and washed the cars. Though they did all that, there were some Personates who did not like it, because they had forgotten how to be kind to others. The mafia mate threatened to run them out of the forest.
We don't want any Animates here. They aren't as good as we are, and I hear them singing in the forest, and it's getting on my
But
nerves.
the posh mate didn't agree. It's nice to hear music again. We never seem to sing anymore.
They're taking all our jobs away from us.
But who will do the work when they've gone? No one wants to sweep the streets or clean the cars.
So finally, it was agreed to let them stay, but only on the other side of the bridge that divided the Animates from the Personates. So the Animates settled down to sleep in their new home. Let's hope they'll be happy there. We shall see next time. Winter had come to the forest, and the Animates were busy keeping themselves warm.
As you all know, I'm now a member of the King's Council representing the Animates. I've just had a message from the King to attend my first meeting.
Good luck.
Good luck, Wiz. Thank you. And don't worry. Just continue to help the Personates and we'll be all right.
Now, let's welcome the first Animate to be on our council.
I want to talk about what the King is paying you for the jobs you do. Oh, no, we don't get paid. We do it just to help.
But that's against our workmate rules.
While you're working for nothing, a personate is not able to get a job. I rather like the idea. More profit for us.
Down with the king. Down with the boss mate and the animates. Up with the workers.
But we are the workers. Now, we are here to discuss Christmas, not politics. Now, let's all be friends for once. Christmas? That's when we personates are always very kind to each other. We give each other presents, have parties, sing songs, and are very happy. But why only at Christmas? Why aren't you like it all the year round? Well, I only wish I knew. I suppose everyone would get very tired of every day being Christmas. But I agree that we should be kind to each other all the year round. Now, let me tell you all about what happens at Christmas.
So the king told Wizzy about Santa Claus and how kind he was to the children, and how the personates decorated their homes and their shops and made everything look pretty, and how everyone sang Christmas songs. The mafia mate didn't like to be disturbed.
Go away, stop singing. I don't like personates to be happy. You are beginning to sound like those stupid animates in the forest.
When Timmy, Carla and Mopey heard about Christmas, they got very excited.
This Christmas time, I'm so excited I speak in rhyme. Now, Carla and Mopey and Timmy, you too, must all work together. There's a great deal to do. Gifts to make, cakes to bake. We can even go skating on the lake.
So the animates busied themselves. Carla the catmate and Brenda the bush baby decorated one of their pom-pom trees, while Mopey was very, very good collecting holly and cones in the forest. But Mopey didn't know that the mafia mate was hiding behind a tree, watching him.
Now's my chance to catch one of the animates. Monkeys are very good at stealing things, and he cannot take all the blame.
Mopey was having such a lovely time when suddenly he found himself trapped.
My own pet monkey and a personal thief. This is where all the animates should be. Help! Help! In a cage, that's where all the monkeys belong. It looks as if poor Mopey has been captured. Look at the marks in the snow. And he has dropped all the things he collected.
But who would have done a thing like that?
A personate, of course. And I think I know who it would be.
But the animates need not have worried. Mopey was very clever. And this time, it was the mafia mate who was in the cage.
A happy Christmas to all the animates.
And so the animates and the personates enjoyed their first Christmas together.
Happy Christmas.
The animates were happily settled in their new home and were helping the personates as they had promised. Leo the lion mate, who was their leader, and Wizzy the wise owl mate, were sleeping after a busy day. So were Timmy the mouse mate, Carla the cat mate, and Mopey the monkey mate. In the animate world, everyone is friendly, but not all the personates are friendly. Look at the mafia mate, sleeping with his dark glasses on just to look more frightening. He makes a lot of trouble and doesn't like the animates one bit. But even the mafia mate can't stop the nice things that happen when the snow falls.
Wake up! Wake up! We're in a different place. It's all white outside.
Sure enough, it was white. The snow had settled.
What's all the noise? Wizzy, what's going on?
Help! Help!
I hope the personates are not driving us away just as we've settled down. Open up, Leo and Wizzy. Something strange has happened. The forest has turned white.
Don't be silly, Mopey. Are you up to your old monkey tricks again? Go back to sleep.
Please let us in. I'm afraid.
Come on in. Oh, you're shivering.
Suddenly, between yawns, Wizzy noticed the snow.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, you're right. Everything's white. What a pretty sight. Must have happened in the night. No wonder that you got a fright.
Wizzy always talked in rhyme when he was excited.
Wizzy, what is it out there? I'm afraid. Of course you're afraid. You're a mouse.
It's all right, Timmy. I understand. But this time, I don't know the answer. We'll have to ask the king.
So, what's the problem? Are my people, the personates, giving you trouble? No, Your Majesty. It's just this strange white blanket that's covering the ground, the trees and the houses. We've never seen anything like it before. Oh, you mean snow? Yes, it happens every year about this time in winter.
Winter? What's that?
Do you mean you don't have any seasons where you come from? No spring, no autumn, no summer, no winter? Nothing like that, Your Majesty. Everything's the same all the year round. Oh, how very dull. Well, that's one good thing about being here with us. You have lots of sunshine in the summer, cold in the winter, flowers in the spring, and beautiful colored trees in the autumn. I can see you have a lot to learn about us.
As soon as the Animates heard that there was nothing to be afraid of, they enjoyed themselves in the snow. The personates even taught Mopey how to ski.
Whoa!
So, once more, the Animates and the personates were learning how to live happily together. Whilst the Animates were sleeping, for once the personates were preparing for a very special event. The King's birthday, and everywhere said, "Happy birthday, King."
Wizzy, Leo, there's something strange going on in the personate village. They are decorating their houses and the streets. You mean they're actually working? Yeah. When we Animates arrived to clean the streets and the houses, the personates were already doing it themselves.
And there are funny signs they call words. We don't know what they say because we don't know how to read. The boss mate said it was the King's birthday.
Birthday? What can that be, Wizzy?
Well, it doesn't sound a bad thing, but we'd better find out from the king.
So Wizzy went to the palace and asked to see the king.
Ah, here we are, Wizzy. We are about to send for you. We are having a special council meeting. But where's the king? We can't have a meeting without the king.
He's resting. He doesn't work as hard as we work.
Just because it's his birthday, he thinks he can leave us to do everything. I say, ban all birthdays.
But what's a birthday? I don't understand.
The boss mate, the workmate, and the banner mate looked at Wizzy the wise owl in amazement.
You mean you don't know what a birthday is? Don't you Animates know anything? Why, better explain.
When Wizzy heard what a birthday was, he hurried back to the village to tell them all about it.
So a birthday means a celebration of the day you were born. You see, the personates have explained that birthdays are really great fun. You have presents and a party each year on the same date, and growing old is really very nice. you become wise, and everyone respects you.
Well, if it's a king's birthday, we must give him a very special present from us Animates because he's been very kind to us. Now, let's make our plans.
Carla the catmate baked a beautiful cake. Of course, Mopey almost spoilt it by putting his paw on the icing before it was set. Brenda the bush baby painted a beautiful card.
That looks beautiful, Carla. Now we must put some candles on.
Candles?
A candle for each year.
But how old is the king?
We must ask Wizzy.
But Mopey thought he would be helpful and asked the king himself.
What is it, Mopey? Have you come to wish me happy birthday?
Yeah, Your Majesty. But we're making a cake for you as a surprise. And we want to know how many candles to put on.
Well, Mopey, you're not supposed to tell about a surprise. Otherwise, it isn't a surprise, is it? And personates, when they are grown up, don't really like to tell their age.
Oh dear. Please don't tell Wizzy that I've asked you or told you about the cake. I was only trying to help.
Of course, Mopey, I know that. Just put as many candles on the cake as you can, and you will be near my age. Now hurry back before they miss you.
I hope the king will accept our invitation.
Hush, the king.
The king kept his promise and pretended to be very surprised when he saw the beautiful cake.
A birthday cake! What a lovely surprise.
And they all had a lovely party. All was very peaceful in the Animate village on the edge of the forest. You can see that the Personate town is grey and not as friendly as the Animate village. One Personate in particular is not friendly towards the Animates, the Mafia mate.
And now I have a worker out how to steal the king's jewels, and I will make sure that Mopey the monkey mate gets all the blame.
Meantime, the Animates were enjoying their new home in the forest.
What are you painting, Brenda? Please, can I paint too?
No, Mopey.
I am the Banimate, and I say the king is allowing the Animates too much power. He takes more notice of Wizzy, the wise owlmaid, than he does of me. I say ban the Animates. Why can't they go back to where they belong?
I find the Animates are a nuisance, and I can't stand all that singing and happiness. How can people be happy when they're working? And down with the king.
Poor Mopey was so upset that he decided to tell the king. The king's throne was empty, and so was the case in which the crown jewels were kept.
Oh my goodness, the crown jewels have gone. I must go quickly before anyone blames me.
Mopey? Mopey, come back. What's the matter? Oh dear, I must tell Wizzy right away.
I can hardly believe that Mopey would steal anything from you, Your Majesty, but if he has, I'm sure he will tell the truth. And monkeys don't always realize what stealing means.
I've asked the other Animates to find him and bring him here right away. He's probably hiding and is afraid.
Mopey was hiding and was afraid. He knew that everyone would put the blame on him.
We've been sent to find you, Mopey. I know you're afraid, but try to be brave. Yes, Mopey. It's not only mice that are afraid. Even cats are sometimes. Please come with us to see Wizzy and the king.
Now, Mopey, answer the first question. Where have you been all day? Playing in the forest, Wizzy.
You mean you haven't been to the palace at all today?
No, Leo.
Poor Mopey was afraid to tell the truth, and so he told a very big lie.
I am very sorry. You haven't told the truth, Mopey, because the king saw you in the throne room today, after the jewels were missing.
I'm afraid it looks very bad for Mopey. All the personates will believe he is a thief.
Poor Mopey, he wished he had told the truth. Meantime, Carla the catmate decided to clean the Maffy-mate's window. And peeping through, she saw the jewels.
Now, all I have to do is to leave a tiny jewel in a Mopey's house, and they will all suspect him.
But Carla quickly told the king and Wizzy what she had seen and what she had heard.
Oh, I'm so pleased it wasn't you, Mopey, who had stolen my jewels. I will get them back right away.
But why did you tell a lie, Mopey?
I think Mopey has learned his lesson, Your Majesty.
The king got back his jewels, and the Maffy-mate was put in a personate prison. But meantime, the Animates were safe and sound, and no one had succeeded in driving them out of the forest. It was night time in the Animate village, and everyone was settling down to sleep. Wizzy, the wise owl, was reading, and Mopey, the monkey mate, had just come in to say good night.
Wizzy, do you think I can read a book too? Well, Mopey, you could if you went to school. But Wizzy, only personates go to school, not animates. But now we're living in the personate world, we have to learn to do a lot of things they do. Now, off you go to bed, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Even Wizzy is beginning to sound like a personate.
Meanwhile, in the personate town, a very important meeting was going on in the king's palace. I am the Bannermate, and I say, let's get rid of the Animates once and for all.
They can't even read or write, and neither can a lot of workmates.
Then let's send them to school.
What? An animate sitting next to a personate?
I object.
You always object.
But I'm a Bannermate. Of course I object.
Well, I shall speak to Wizzy, the wise owl mate, tomorrow and ask him what he thinks about his animates going to school.
I think the animate should go to school, Your Majesty, but I do think we'd be happier building our own. That is, if you don't object.
Whatever makes you happy, Wizzy.
So the Animates built their own school, all made of poms from the pom-pom trees.
I don't want to go to school at all. I just want to play and do monkey tricks.
Well, as the animate leader, I think we should learn and be as clever as the personates.
Now, class, let us learn the alphabet.
What's the alphabet? Letters, you silly bush baby mate. Even I know that. A, B, C. I'm not a silly bush baby. I'm going to be a clever one. She always calls me a silly mouse. I'm a clever cat.
Enough. Let's get on with our first lesson.
But while Wizzy was busy keeping the class in order, Mopey was getting up to mischief, drawing a funny picture of Wizzy on the blackboard. And when Mopey's friends saw the drawing, they all laughed. But Wizzy was not amused. Mopey had to stay behind in school and do extra lessons for being a naughty animate. And for once, he didn't feel like standing on his head. But suddenly, he heard a noise and looked out of the schoolroom window. He saw the Maffy-mate and the Bannermate spying through Wizzy's window. So Mopey decided to see what they were up to.
And now is the time to burn down the school and all the books that us personates have given them.
Ban the books.
We can't have them being more clever than us.
Let's go to the school now, while they're all in their houses.
I've got to do something quick to stop them spoiling our new school.
The Mafia mate and the Banner mate knew they would get into the school easily because Animates never locked their doors. They trusted everyone. But Mopey was a clever monkey, even though he couldn't read, and had found a huge net. And he managed to trap the Mafia mate and the Banner mate so they couldn't escape.
Thanks to you, Mopey, our school has been saved. If you hadn't been naughty, you wouldn't have seen the Mafia mate and the Banner mate.
So once again, Mopey saved the day and worked very hard in school because he didn't want any personate to be cleverer than he was. The Animates and the Personates seemed to be getting on quite well, and the Animates were settling down in their new home. Mopey, the monkey mate, and Brenda, the bush baby mate, were enjoying the sunshine and doing some gardening.
Isn't it nice that it's spring? All the trees are full of poms.
It's all right for you. I'm doing all the work, and you're just acting like a personate and doing no work at all.
I just feel very lazy. Bush babies like to sleep during the day, you know, and wake up at night.
Not in the personate land, they don't. Remember, we're not in never ever land now.
Oh, do be quiet and let me sleep, Mopey. Monkeys will chatter and chatter.
But Mopey wasn't listening to Brenda. He had noticed something glittering on the ground. And while Brenda slept, he quickly picked it up. He had never seen a watch before. Mopey listened to it tick. To him, it was magic. Mopey was so pleased with his new toy that he decided to hide it and keep it for himself. Monkeys always like to hide things. It's part of their monkey nature.
Come on, Mopey. Stop playing about. Lunch is ready.
In the land of the Personates, things were not quite so happy.
Now tell me, bossmate, what is the trouble?
It's my precious watch. I've lost it, or had it stolen, and now I don't know the time. I can't tell my workmates when to start work.
You mean the Animates? They do all the work round here. As a workmate, I must protest.
I object too. I say ban all work for the Personates.
Please, please be quiet. Now, about this watch, bossmate, when did you lose it?
I keep telling you, I had it yesterday when I went on to inspect the Animate forest.
What do you think, Wizzy? Can you help us to look for it?
Of course, Your Majesty. I'll get the Animates to search in the forest. But if they find it, they might keep it. That's what a personate would do.
But they are not personates. They are Animates, and they are honest.
Now we must all try to find the lost watch. The bossmate is very upset about losing it.
Why do we have to look for it? It's a personate thing. Can't they find it?
The important thing is to show the personates that we are honest. And if we find something, we don't keep it. You mean, Wizzy, that if you find something, that doesn't belong to you? No, Mopey. Finding doesn't mean keeping.
Please, can I say something?
Not now, Brenda. We must go out and search for the watch.
But, Wizzy, I think I know where it is.
Then why didn't you say so before?
I didn't want to get Mopey into trouble.
I didn't mean any harm, Wizzy. I've never seen a watch before, and it's so pretty.
Don't tell me you stole from a personate.
Oh, no, he didn't steal it. He found it. I saw him at the corner of my eye.
Well, Brenda's right, Wizzy. I did find it in the forest, and I wanted to keep it all to myself. I'm very sorry. Well, that's another lesson you've learnt, Mopey. Finders is not keepers.
Well, once more, the Animates have helped us. And as a reward, Mopey, you will get your very own watch.
Finders may not be keepers, But you see, honesty always pays. The Animates were happily settled in their new home in the forest on the edge of the Personate town. Today is a rather special day for the Personates, and the shops are looking prettier than usual. Because, you see, it's St. Valentine's Day.
St. Valentine's Day. Now, let me see. That must be another personate thing that we don't know about. I'll ask the king what it means.
I say, ban St. Valentine's Day. It's stupid.
But it is rather good for business. The poor can't afford it.
But we haven't got any poor people in the land of the Personates, and I think it's rather a nice custom.
Please, could I ask what it means?
It's all about love. It's tomorrow, February the 14th.
It sounds very nice to me, too. I'll tell the Animates about it. I think they'll like that personate custom.
Brenda, the bush baby mate, couldn't wait to paint her own Valentine's card when Wizzy told her what it meant. Brenda was very romantic and thought everyone should love one another, which of course they should. Mopey, as usual, was in a mischievous mood.
Stop trying to attract my attention, Mopey. Can't you see that I'm busy?
I think all this Valentine's Day personate thing is silly. If you love someone, you don't have to tell them by sending cards. They should know.
Not always, Mopey. Sometimes it's nice to remind them. There. Isn't that a beautiful cake? What a clever catmate I am, aren't I? Oh, yes, Carla. You're the only catmate a mousemate like me could ever love.
Love, all this talk of love.
But there was one person who really wasn't loved, the Mafia mate.
It's a very silly custom, sending cards secretly to other personates. All this talk about the love, huh? I'll be glad when the Valentine's Day is over and the personates go back to their normal, miserable selves.
Meantime, Mopey was trying very hard to paint a Valentine card for Brenda, the bush baby mate. But he wasn't doing very well. Even Wizzy, the wise owl mate, had got into the spirit of the day and was composing a special Valentine's Day poem. By the night time, everyone had made their plans for Valentine's Day. The Animates were very excited about February the 14th, which was the very next day.
I do hope someone sends me a Valentine card, or I shall be so disappointed.
Mopey didn't say anything, but he looked very mischievous. The next morning, there was great excitement in the Animate village.
Oh, a Valentine card from Mopey. How sweet. I wasn't forgotten after all.
Even Leo, the lion mate, got a card, so he didn't feel left out. And Brenda, the bush baby, had worked very hard painting every Animate a Valentine's card, so no one was missed out. Wizzy had called all the Animates together and was reading them his special poem.
Wizzy, the wise owl mate, I'd like to say best wishes to you on Valentine's Day. You worked very hard all the days through, so here are my heartfelt wishes to you. To get to our new home, we've traveled so long, but we've always been happy and singing a song. So join in together our Animates tune, and we'll all be back one day very soon.
This is the Animate village, and on the other side of the bridge is the Personate town. The Animates help the Personates, and they learn from each other. The Animates laugh and sing as they work, which is something the Personates had forgotten how to do. Wizzy, the wise owl mate, is at the palace.
Well, what are your problems today, Wizzy? Everything all right with your Animates?
Oh, yes, Your Majesty. Our school is a great success, And now we can read and write. We are thinking of having our own newspaper.
I object. We don't want to be spied on.
Don't print any lies about us. That's enough. If the Animates want their own newspaper, then it's their business.
And we can print whatever we like, so long as it's the truth. Now, Brenda, you're the best one at reading and writing and drawing, so you can be our editor.
So the Animates got very busy getting their newspaper together. They called it the Animate Daily News.
Ah, Mopey, have you got any news today?
Well, I'm going to get Timmy to hide, and then I can write about how he's lost.
But Mopey, you can't do that. That's not news. That's just a made-up story. It's got to be real. Now, go away and come back with a true story.
Mopey sat in his favorite tree, trying hard to think what to write for the newspaper. When suddenly, I say, down with the king.
Now, what do we need is someone like me to rule the personages. The king is too nice to those Animates. Now, if I can get rid of the king, I'm sure I can get the bossmate and the workmate on my side. And then I'll drive the Animates out to the forest.
But how will you do it? Hiding away in the tree, Mopey listened carefully as the Mafia mate revealed his evil plan. Meanwhile, at the Animate newspaper office, Brenda was trying to decide what to put in the first edition of the paper.
Oh, dear. I just need one more story to make the front page. Brenda sounds exactly like a personate. She thinks she's very important. Well, she is. She's the editor.
Brenda, Carla, Timmy, I've got a front-page story.
At first, no one believed poor Mopey when he told them what he had heard the Mafia mate and the Bannermate planning.
Are you sure this isn't one of your monkey tricks?
I'm telling the truth, Brenda. But really I am. They plan to capture the king. Then blame it onto us and then drive us away.
Then we must print the story right away. So the Animates worked very hard and managed to get the first newspaper printed. The front page told the story of the plot to kidnap the king. And soon all the personates had read the newspaper, including the Mafia mate.
Those Animates have ruined my plan. They are getting far too clever.
Well, Brenda, you've got your front page story. Now you know why a newspaper is a very important thing. Congratulations, Mopey, and all of you.
The Animates, as you know, had come from Never Ever Land, where they were happy all the time. But there was one Animate who was not happy that morning. Mopey, the monkey mate, who was normally so full of life and mischief, was feeling not at all well.
Oh dear, my head feels funny.
Mopey, what's the matter? Oh, my goodness, you're all covered in spots. I'd better get busy.
Mopey is covered in spots, is he? Sounds like the measles or chicken pox to me.
What's that, Your Majesty?
You mean you've never heard of things like that? We personates have all kinds of things wrong with us sometimes. Colds, headaches. Don't tell me you Animates haven't ever been ill.
Where we come from, we are always the same, Your Majesty. This must be something we are learning from the personates, how to be ill.
So Mopey was taken to the Personate Hospital, and he was very afraid.
And now I think Mopey should be left alone. down. We have to take his temperature and give him something to make him feel better. Oh, don't leave me alone with a personate. They don't like animates and might put me in a cage, like they used to do with animates. Don't be silly, Mopey. This is a doctor, mate. He only thinks about people who are sick. He doesn't care what colour they are, or whether they are animates or personates.
We'll be thinking of you, Mopey.
That's enough now, Mopey. Now, let's take this temperature.
Poor Mopey. He will miss us.
He'll be all right. Now, let's get on with our work and leave Mopey to get well. Now, Mopey, whatever you do, don't swallow the thermometer. It's made of glass and could hurt you. And don't try to speak.
Just then, the doctor's bleeper sounded, which meant he was needed on the telephone. He turned away, and in that split second, Mopey started to say something and swallowed the thermometer.
Now, Mopey, what have you done with the thermometer? Have you hidden it? Don't tell me you've swallowed it. This means an operation right away. What shall we do? We must do as the doctor says. The doctor knows best.
But Mopey had his own ideas and decided to try his old trick of standing on his head. And it worked.
The thermometer. Mopey has made it drop out. That means no operation, Mopey. But now you really have to behave and do as the doctor says. Yes, Wizzy, I'm sorry, Doctor, mate. I promise I'll take all my medicine like a good animate.
Yes, what is it? What's the trouble now?
As the Bannermate, I object to the Animates using our hospital.
Oh, but you object to everything.
Of course I do. I want to ban everything.
I don't think it's right that animates should be treated as equals. They've taken our jobs.
Oh, do be quiet. Don't you realize it's our fault that Mopey is ill? Before they came to us, the animates had never had any illness. So the least we can do is to look after them. Now, please go away and try to be good personates.
Mopey had been joined by his friends, Timmy the Mouse, Carla the Cat, Wizzy and Leo the Lion. They all had the measles. Brenda was being the nurse and helping the doctor mate to look after them. The animates had learned something more about the personates, even if it was only not to be afraid of being ill. The Animates settled happily in their new home, which is on the edge of the forest. The Animate village is friendly and warm, but the Personate village is grey and not very friendly.
And now that we are here in our new home, we must make sure that we help the personates all we can. And that means, Mopey, that you don't get into any mischief. But monkeys always get into mischief, Wizzy. Everyone expects them to.
But some of the personates won't understand that. Now, let's talk about the Silver Jubilee of the King.
What's a silver jubilee?
It's when a king or a queen has been on the throne for 25 years. Now, let's plan our celebration.
And so the Animates planned all sorts of lovely things. Brenda the bush baby baked a beautiful cake and was icing it.
Mopey, just go away and do something useful for a change.
But monkeys only no tricks.
Then do a disappearing trick. Right now.
So Mopey wandered off to see who else he could help, and found himself in the king's palace. He knew he shouldn't really be there, but he was curious to see the king and see what all the fuss was about. He managed to get in through a tiny window without anyone seeing him, and was thrilled to see the throne. It must be nice to be a king, he thought, with no one to tell you what to do all the time. Then he saw the most beautiful thing he had ever seen, the royal crown. And while there was no one around, Mopey decided he would try it on. Now I know what it's like to be a king, thought Mopey. Just then.
What's going on here?
Nothing. I'm only a monkey, mate.
But my crown, you're wearing my crown. Oh, are you stealing it?
Oh, no, your kingship. Only pretending. Oh, I've never seen a crown before.
Well, come on out. I'm not going to hurt you.
I was just pretending to be king, and I thought of all the things I would do.
And what would you do if you were king?
I'd give my animate friends some nice jobs to do, as well as the nasty ones, and perhaps let them help rule the kingdom. Wizzy, the wise owl mate, is very clever, you know.
For a monkey, you've a lot of sense. I must admit that you animates have been a great help to me and my people. So I will think about what you said.
And sure enough, the king did think about what Mopey had said and gave the animates a lovely surprise.
Thanks to Mopey the monkey mate, I have now decided to appoint Wizzy the wise owl mate, my official wise counselor. He will advise me on how to keep my people busy and happy.
Good for you, Mopey.
If he makes us laugh, Leo, then he has done something very useful. That's what we've got to teach the personates to do.
Yes, they've forgotten how to laugh.
And so the animates won their first victory, their very own Wizzy, the wise owlmate, as wise counselor. With his help, the animates would try to teach the personates to laugh and to be kind to each other. This is where the animates live, and this is where the personates live.
Now, I want to make a special announcement to you, the Personate Council members. It's about the animates.
And I object.
But I haven't said anything yet. Now, about the animates, I think you must agree with me that they have helped us a great deal since they arrived. They have worked very hard and done all the jobs the personates wouldn't do.
Taking our jobs, you mean? At least we really don't have to pay them. Not like you, workmate. You're always demanding money.
Ah, yes, money. That's just the point I was going to make. I think it's time we paid the animates for the work they do.
You mean really give them money? Money? What would we do with money?
We would be able to buy things from the personate shops and learn all about what money means. I'm afraid us personates cannot live without it.
Wizzy was so excited about the news that he started to speak in
I
rhyme.
have to tell you something funny. We're going to earn some personate money. The idea came from our friend the king, so all together, let us sing.
Just a minute, Wizzy, before we start to sing. What does it all mean? What is money?
Is it something nice, Wizzy? Of course it is, you silly mouse.
Please explain, Wizzy.
So Wizzy, the wise owlmate, explained that money was used to buy things, that you didn't always spend all your money at once. Some people saved it and put it in a place called a bank. Mopey decided to visit the bank, where they had plenty of money, and asked them to give him some for all the work he had done for the personates.
Oh dear. What a silly bank. It's closed. I'll just have to help myself.
Being a monkey, it wasn't difficult for him to get through the bars of the window. Mopey scooped up a whole pile of money and was very pleased with himself for being such a clever monkey mate.
At the last, I've caught the Mopey stealing. Oh, this should get the animates into a trouble.
Poor Mopey. He didn't realize that he was stealing. He thought the money really belonged to him for the work he had done.
Now, I can buy all the sweets I want. No, you don't. You naughty Animate. You give that money back. But it's mine. I worked hard for it. I'm afraid the bank really belongs to me, and that money really belongs to the personates. And I'm afraid I'll have to take you to the king.
Now I've got the Animates trapped, and I'm going to steal the rest of the money from the bank.
You do realize, Mopey, that the busmate has accused you of stealing.
Stealing? What does that mean? It means taking something that doesn't belong to you, Mopey.
The alarm bell. Somebody's broken into the bank.
Oh, really? Not my bank again.
This time, it was the mafia mate who was caught. He was just too big to get through the bars of the window.
Well, the mafia mate has been punished. And you, Mopey, mustn't take things that don't belong to you ever again, just because you want them.
Mopey did learn about banks and money, and that you only own what you have worked for. It was summertime in the land of the Animates and the Personates, and the palms were brighter than ever, and there were lots of flowers, and in the Animate village, it is the last day of school before the summer holiday.
Now, Animates, I'm sure you'll be pleased to hear that you don't have to come to school during the summer holiday.
What's a holiday, Wizzy? I know. It's when people go away.
But I don't want to go away. I just want to stay and play.
Oh, that rhymes, Mopey. You sound like Wizzy now.
No, I am the teacher, don't forget. And you're not on your holiday yet. Now, Mopey, just stop standing on your hands, and we'll start to make our holiday plans.
I like it when Wizzy talks in rhyme. It means that we can waste some time. Oh, do be quiet, Timmy, and listen to Wizzy, or you will get him all of a tizzy. Ha ha, that rhymes too. Oh dear, Wizzy, what shall we do?
Just be quiet, all of you, and I will tell you what to do.
And Wizzy began to discuss the holiday plans of the Animates. And then he had to attend a council meeting at the Personate Palace.
As a workmate, I say we need more holidays, more pay, and less work. Oh, really, work? You aren't doing any. The Animates do it all.
Well, that's what I wanted to discuss. You see, I think it's time that the Animates had a holiday.
But who will do your work?
I object. Animates can't have holidays.
Just one moment. I think it's only fair that they should. After all, we managed before they came here, although I must admit not very well.
You see, Your Majesty, we'd like to visit Never Ever Land, where we came from, just for 2 weeks.
Very well, Wizzy. Tell the Animates they can prepare for their holidays.
Paula, can I have a little room, please, in one of the suitcases for my things? Oh, Timmy, you're just a mouse, mate. You don't need to pack very much. Now me, I'm a cat, mate, and must always look beautiful.
Brenda, the bush baby mate, and Mopey, the monkey mate, were also excitedly packing for their holiday.
Oh, dear, Mopey. I can't decide what to pack and what to leave behind.
You always look pretty to me, Brenda.
Oh, Mopey, thank you.
In Wizzy's pom-pom house, Wizzy and Leo are having a final discussion.
Are you sure you won't come on holiday with us, Wizzy?
Quite sure. My idea of a holiday will be to stay here and sleep in a tree. Our mates like to do that, you know, and not be wise at all for 2 whole weeks.
At last, the Animates were packed and ready to go on holiday and were saying goodbye to Wizzy.
Oh, Wizzy, we shall miss you. Are you sure you're going to be all right alone?
I'm quite sure, Brenda. And someone needs to stay behind to look after the animate houses. We'll bring you back a present, Wizzy.
We won't forget you, Wizzy. Of course we won't, you silly mouse.
I've just come to wish you a happy holiday. And don't worry about Wizzy. I'll invite him to the palace for supper, so he won't be lonely. But don't stay in Never Ever Land, will you? We need you here, and we'll miss you.
And so we hope to see them all again very soon.